Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother 23 updates and spoilers. Hope you're all having a wonderful today. Wonderful Monday. I'm tired. But anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Our house guests of the day are Adley Bruges and Bradley LeBlanc. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. Name a better deal. Anyway, I also want to thank yesterday's super chatters because that is also a fantastic way to support this channel. Keep us doing these daily streams. So Mallory Forever, Teresa Hansen, Gail Murphy Comedy, Nicole Diop, and Michelle C. Thank you all so much for the super chats. And I see my stage manager, Jefferson Tucker, is here. Thank you for the super chats. Oh, yeah. I mean, Claire's probably going to be the only white person left after this week. That's true. I can't deal with the Kyland talking words, so many words, and it's going to be a long week. But anyway, let's get started. When we left off yesterday, Sarah Beth, Kyland, and Xavier are up on the block. Sarah Beth is the target. And we know that Hannah won the power veto. The ladies are really killing it in the competitions this week. So Hannah wants to use the power veto on Xavier because she would not feel comfortable having two cookout members up on the block on Thursday. Why take that chance if you don't have to? Plus, if Xavier comes off the block, she's hoping to get some brownie points with him. Also, nobody would have to go up as replacement nominee because he was not nominated by the anonymous HOH this week. He went up as a result of last week's power of veto. So no replacement nominee there. But she wants to check with Tiffany and Claire and make sure it's okay before she does that. So the cookout is not happy with Kyland because Kyland wants to try and convince Hannah to use the power veto on him. But you see, that's not really part of their plan because Tiffany's whole plan that they all agreed on was whenever it's time for your +1, your person outside of the cookout to go, you go up on the block next to them. And then we vote out your person and we keep you safe. So they're wondering, is Kyland up to something? Like, why is he doing this now? Why is he trying to come off the block when he's been saying for weeks, like, yeah, when Sarah Beth's time to go, just put me up next to her and we'll be all good. What's going on? So yesterday morning, Tiffany and Claire were chatting in the hammock, and Tiffany's like, where in the heck do I even start? She says she got pulled into one of Kyland's conversations the night before. Yes, she did. It was very long. It was too much. And she says Kyland was saying if the veto is used on him this week, he will be more obliged to keep Tiffany and Claire safe next week. And Claire's like, I don't think that's necessarily true. She doesn't know how much she can trust Kyland. Kyland and Sarah Beth have both put Claire up in the past. So why is she going to trust him now? Doesn't make sense. But Tiffany says, I made it very clear to Kyland that I wanted him on the block this week so that we could take out Sarah Beth. What is he trying to do now? He was fine with it before. So Claire says, yeah, he's safe right now. Why is he trying to F around with this? So Tiffany says, Kyland wants us to put Alyssa up on the block. Because remember, Claire is the anonymous HOH. So ultimately, it would be her decision who the replacement nominee would be if Kyland or Sarah Beth were to come down. But Claire is working closely in conjunction with Tiffany, and she is respecting what Tiffany wanted to play out for her HOH this week. So, yeah, Tiffany suspects that Kyland would try to flip the vote to take out Alyssa and save Sarah Beth. I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that happening. So Claire says, I don't feel indebted to Kyland at all. You know, he put me up on the block, and so did Sarah Beth. Plus, Hannah's the one with the veto anyway. We can't make her do anything. It's her decision. That's what it is. Okay. She says, sometimes you just have to be on the block on a Thursday. Of course, nobody wants to do that, but that's just how it is. And who knows that better than Claire now? So Tiffany brings up the idea of Hannah potentially using the power veto on Xavier because then it would only be 2 people up on the block, Sarah Beth and Kyland. It would guarantee that one of them would go, and obviously they want Sarah Beth to go. But if Xavier was still up on the block, they would be able to gang up on him and campaign against him and try and get him out instead. So Claire is like, yeah, I see what you're saying. She's kind of concerned that if Xavier comes off the block, he will try and flip the vote and Kyland will go. She still doesn't know about the cookout. So Tiffany is assuring her, no, you don't have to worry. The votes will be there to take out Sarah Beth. Okay. So they want to discuss this more some later, but Tiffany wanted to at least start talking to her a little bit about it. So then Tiffany checks in with Xavier in the kitchen, and Tiffany says, all right, I've been working on Claire about the POV situation. Claire is debating it. She is open to it being used on you. And again, just to be clear here, Hannah won the power veto. It comes down to Hannah to really make the decision what she's going to do with it. But they want to make sure that Claire is on board with this without revealing the cookout. They don't want her to be like, why is Hannah saving Xavier? What's going on there? So they want to make sure that she is also cool with it. And Tiffany lets Xavier know, Claire wants to make a deal with you. But, like, wouldn't Xavier target Claire if he won HOH? What else is he going to do? He's not going to target Alyssa. He's +1. So I guess he'd just, like, lie and put Claire up anyway? I don't know. But Tiffany says she's just worried if Xavier stays up on the block this week that Kyland is going to try something and it's going to drive the cookout apart, specifically Kyland and Xavier. And Xavier agrees. He's getting pretty ticked off with Kyland already. They also feel that Kyland's going to be pissed if Hannah uses the power veto on Xavier and not on Kyland. And Xavier says, ultimately, it's Hannah's decision, and Kyland is going to be pissed either way because Sarah Beth is going this week. You know, whatever we decide to do, Kyland is still going to be upset. So whatever, we should just do what we want. So Tiffany tells Xavier, you should talk to Claire, make sure that you guys are on the same page. All right. So later, Kyland checks in with Sarah Beth in the kitchen, and he says his conversation with Tiffany the night before, he's feeling really good about it. It ended on a positive note. Also, this really cracked me up. He was somehow able to sum up his hours-long conversation with Tiffany in about, like, 30 seconds to a minute. So, obviously, Kyland has the capability of keeping things brief. So, like, why do these conversations have to be 2-3 hours long? It's too much. Enough. I feel like Enzo now. So Kyland says, I told Tiffany I'm probably going to win the power veto, or not the POV. I'm probably going to win the HOH next week. So if the POV is used on me this week, I won't put up you and Claire if I were to win. So Sarah Beth is like, yeah, sounds good. I guess we could go after Xavier and Alyssa next week. You know, we could actually stay true to that promise. Kyland says he's planning on talking to Hannah, and he's pretty confident that he can convince her to use the power of the power of veto on him. No. No. So Sarah Beth's like, all right, well, if you come off the block, who does Tiffany think is going to go this week? And Kyland's like, I don't know. You know, I need to talk to Tiffany some more. It was already hours. But he says, if I do come down, it's going to increase the odds that we both stay this week. And Sarah Beth is like, yeah, I would be thrilled if you come down off the block. I guess she really does think that Kyland is the target. All right. So meanwhile, Hannah and Claire are chatting in the coral bedroom. They're discussing the power veto. And Hannah says, all right, I really want to respect this week that Sarah Beth is Tiffany's target. And I feel like the best way to get Sarah Beth out of here is to take down Xavier, because then that will leave Kyland and Sarah Beth up on the block. They won't have the opportunity to scheme and try and take Xavier out. Plus, Hannah says she wants to see Kyland sweat a little bit up on the block, right? She says that might cause him to fracture whatever relationship he's been building with Xavier, especially if Kyland is bitter about Xavier being taken off the block. Oh, yeah. More importantly, she says, for the three of us, Hannah, Claire, and Tiffany, if I use this power veto on Xavier, who's all about proving your loyalty through action, I don't see how that could hurt the three of us, right? He's going to be happy with us. Maybe if he wins the HOH, he'll keep us safe. I mean, not Claire. So Claire says, yeah, I'm open to this. Again, she's a little bit worried that Xavier might try and rally the votes to get Kyland out this week instead of Sarah Beth. But she says we should still have the votes to take Kyland out. You only need 3 votes to tie this week. And in the case of a tie, Claire would be breaking it as the anonymous HOH. Claire also feels like this could be an opportunity to make a deal with Xavier. So she's like, yeah, okay, I'm fine with Xavier coming down if that's what you want to do. So Hannah also reiterates one of her priorities this week is fracturing that Kyland and Xavier relationship. It definitely seems to be working so far. She's killing it. So Hannah also checked in with Azah and Big D about the power veto. They basically told her, like, do whatever you want. We don't really care. Sarah Beth is going no matter what this week. Cool. Okay, so later, Kyland was chatting with Xavier in the backyard. Oh, my God. I just could not believe Kyland in this conversation with his fellow nominee and alliance member, Xavier. So Kyland says, all right, this vote is set to be unanimous right now, obviously for Sarah Beth to go. And Kyland says, I would rather it not be unanimous. I would like to be able to be the one to give Sarah Beth that vote. So he wants to give her a sympathy vote. He says it's kind of messed up this week because Sarah Beth feels like this is a personal move against her. She feels like it's personal that she's being targeted. And from what I've heard from the house, this is a personal move. Is it though? I mean, I feel like she's just being targeted because she's not in the cookout. There's only 3 people left that are not in the cookout. So yeah, she's being targeted for that. But anyway, Kyland says he feels really bad, that she thinks it's personal, and he would love to show her some support by giving her a vote this week. So Kyland says, I know you're on the block too, so I just want to make sure you're cool with it. I wanted to make sure you don't feel alone or like you're not a part of this whole thing. So Kyland's like, also, setting up for next week, I could tell Claire that if the power veto is used on me, then I will focus on Xavier and Alyssa next week. Like, he would target Alyssa instead of going after Claire and Tiffany. Xavier's gonna hate this. Like, okay, so you're getting what you want. You're getting it to give your ally a sympathy vote, and you're gonna target my number 1 ally? Like, I don't think so. So Xavier's like, okay, so you want to get pulled off so that you can give Sarah Beth a sympathy vote? And Kyland's like, yeah, real vote, sympathy vote, you know. Oh my God. So he says he wants to give Sarah Beth some hope to hold on to throughout the week. Isn't that gonna make it even worse? So Xavier says, what's going on here? Like, he's under the impression when it's Alyssa's time to go, he will be up on the block next to Alyssa like they planned, and Alyssa won't be getting a sympathy vote. When Claire has to go, Tiffany will be sitting next to her. Claire will not get a sympathy vote. So Xavier says the expectation is that we stay up on the block next to our person. And Kyland's like, yeah, but I've underestimated how much. And then Xavier tries to complete that thought, and he's like, oh, how much you were going to care about her. And Kyland says, nope, I've underestimated how much people dislike her. And it means more to me at this moment than it did yesterday for me to cast that vote for her. So at one point, Kyland runs back inside the house to check on some food that he left in the oven. And Xavier says to the camera, no. Who does this man think he's playing with? So then when Kyland comes back, Xavier's asking who would go up in your place if you did come off the block. And Kyland says, I don't know, like anyone that people would feel comfortable with. Alyssa, Big D, one of those two. And Xavier's like, how do you think Big D would feel about being a replacement nominee this week? And Kylan's like, I don't think he's really in a position to have the biggest issue with it. Oh, whoa. So Kylan says, coming into the house, I think Big D was aware that could happen. Oh my God. Kylan thinks he's better than everyone else. And it's really messed up. But this conversation goes on and on for at least 45 minutes. Kylan is just continuing to dig a deeper hole for himself with Xavier. So a little later, Kylan was talking to Hannah. He made pretty much the same pitch to her. He wants to come off the block so that he can give Sarah Beth a sympathy vote. And Hannah's just like, no. I mean, she says she's going to talk to Claire about it because she wants to make sure they're on the same page. But there's no way that Hannah is going to use this power veto on Kylan. No way. Okay. Meanwhile, Xavier checks in with Claire in the yacht club bedroom like Tiffany told him to. And Xavier's asking, do you think there's anything that I should say to Hannah to get her to use the power veto on me? And he's saying, I want to tell Hannah that if she were to use the POV on me, that she would gain an ally in me and probably Alyssa as well. So Xavier then extends this to include Tiffany and Claire since they are so closely connected to Hannah at this point. And he says, I want Hannah to know if I win HOH next week, it will not be you, Tiffany, or Hannah going up on the block. So he's saying exactly what Claire wants to hear. So Claire feels really good hearing this. She's like, okay, I guess it would be okay if Hannah used power veto on Xavier because we're getting a deal like we want. So Xavier and Hannah go up to the Have Not room. They were going to do their Hot Takes with Hannah show, but they were really annoyed because those long-ass conversations with Kylan delayed their show by 2 hours. So instead, they compare notes on his weak-ass sentimental pitch. Whoa, those are Xavier's words. You can tell he is pissed. So they agree if Kylan is really so concerned about Sarah Beth not getting any votes, then Xavier can just throw her a sympathy vote when Hannah takes him off the block. They're super annoyed with Kylan. They think that he's just trying to do this for the jury management. I mean, he got to give Derek X a sympathy vote last week. He got to try and lock in his jury vote. Now he's trying to get Sarah Beth's jury vote. So they're not feeling this. They're not happy about it. They feel like Kylan just continues to be more and more of a liability for the cookout. They do not want him to win HOH next week. Because it's interesting here because Kylan is so pissy this week that he is not in on every single detail, every little bit of information. But when he's HOH, he freaking hooks people up to that machine from The Princess Bride that sucks every bit of life out of you. We're getting a phone call. Instead, he sets them up with this machine and sucks out every bit of information, and then he doesn't share any of it with his alliance. So they do not want him to win HOH next week. It's a nightmare. But Xavier says that Kylan is just giving them more reasons to take him out at the final 6. And he even says, you know what, maybe we should just take him out now. But then he's like, no, we can't do that. We need to get to the final 6 with all the cookout. Okay. So Hannah also let Xavier know Claire is on board now with her using the power veto on him. So that's all good. Okay. So throughout the evening, Kylan was checking in with all the cookout members individually, pitching why he wants to come off the block. Xavier also checking in with a bunch of the cookout, venting about Kylan. And at one point, Kylan was chatting with Big D in the yacht club bedroom. And Xavier comes in and tells Kai, you need to stop meeting with everyone in the cookout because Claire is starting to catch on to it. And it looks sketchy because Hannah is the one with the power veto this week. So why are you checking in with all the cookout members? It's going to give away that we're all working with Hannah. So Kylan says, I'm just doing the same thing that everyone else on the block does, which is meet with everyone in the house. Before the power of veto? What? He's talking about when people do their one-on-ones about the voting. And Kylan says, everyone in the house just so happens to be in the cookout. So, like, what am I supposed to do about it? All right. So then Xavier says it's still raising suspicion. So maybe for tonight, you just, like, stop. Kylan says, I've been hustling for weeks, giving everyone what they want, and now I can't get straight up answers from people. So, yeah, Xavier says, let's just keep it toned down for tonight, take a little hiatus, and then you can talk to people tomorrow. All right. Meanwhile, the tensions are rising between Kylan and Xavier. Meanwhile, Sarah Beth is pitching to Hannah on the hammock, and Sarah Beth says, there are a lot of people targeting me and Kylan, and, sometimes it's good to keep big targets around. They'll be a shield for you. And Sarah Beth says, I feel like we could work well together. We both think objectively. We don't play emotionally. So we could be good allies. She says, ideally, I would want myself and Kylan to stay this week. But if not, I would hope that you'd want to keep me. And Hannah says, I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with this veto yet. There's like so many options. But Sarah Beth says that Hannah is not on her or Kylan's radar. Okay. So later, the house guests took a little break from the game. They set up an obstacle course in the backyard for their BB Olympics. That's nice. Nothing really changed game-wise last night. Hannah still planning to use the power veto on Xavier. Everyone annoyed with Kylan. And then today, Kylan was asking Hannah at one point, so, like, what are you going to do with the veto? And Hannah said, I'm using it on Xavier. And Kylan said, okay, good. That was, like, soul-crushing for him. But anyway, they had the power veto ceremony today. Hannah did follow through and use the power veto on Xavier. Because he was the third nominee, there was no replacement for him. So that means we have Kylan and Sarah Beth up on the block. So I got to ask you guys, who's excited for Kylan's one-on-ones throughout the week? No, I can't. But Sarah Beth is still going to be the one going unless the cookout just can't put up with Kylan's bullshit anymore. So we'll see what happens. We've got 3 days left until the eviction. Yeah, I think this is it for Sarah Beth, unless Kylan is just too overbearing. We'll see. But wait, what was going on? Somebody said, oh, okay. What? Telemarketing from Switzerland. That sounds like BS to me. Yeah, I could see some major implications within the cookout with this drama. But honestly, I feel like a lot of people in the cookout were planning on targeting Kylan first within the group. So I don't see it affecting the rest of the cookout. Like, I don't see it causing tension with the rest of the group. It seems like everyone's just really annoyed with Kylan at this point, Mom, are you coming in? I don't know where she is. She's not in the closet. But yeah, I think there's going to be some more drama with Xavier and Kylan throughout the week. We'll see what happens. I don't know where Mom is right now. Maybe she's on the phone. Maybe she's on the phone with Switzerland. Okay, here she is.
Sorry.
It's okay. Oh my gosh.
Whoa. Almost fell.
Bowie, what happened? Oh, okay. I want to thank all of today's super chatters because we could not do this without you guys, and we appreciate it so much. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much. John S., thank you so much. Trisha C., thank you so much. Lisa, thank you so much for the super chat. Eric N., thank you so much for the super chat. He says, ooh, Derek X throwing that right back at me.
I don't know.
That's a Julie quote. That's from Thursday's live eviction when he said expect the unexpected
right.
and Julie fell in love.
There you go.
Wild. I almost forgot about that. Yeah. That was crazy. Thank you for reminding us about that. John Thank you so much for the super chat. And John says, while SB isn't in the cookout, it does seem that Tiffany has had a bit of a personal vendetta against SB for a while outside of gameplay. I would agree with that. I think because Tiffany had a final 2 deal with Kyland, it all started when she realized how close Kyland was to Sarah Beth. That's when Tiffany was really like, oh, we got to get her out of here because she is a threat.
Get here out of here.
Get her out of here. She's a threat to the cookout staying together. So I think that's where it really stems from. But I mean, she does also have game reasons to target Sarah Beth. She is threatened by her gameplay. So I don't think it's completely personal, but there could be some sort of a personal element there. Sean, thank you so much for the super chat. He says Derek needs to go down. I think that's the only player my boyfriend knows at this point. You're the best, babe. And he also asked, am I still sick? Only in the head. Thanks so much for the super chats. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, this is what I was talking about before. Let me see. He says the intro super chat was a spoiler tease, but it happened around 4 Eastern, so you may end up covering it tomorrow. Yeah, it wasn't in today's. A major Xavier freakout / fallout from this fail. Interesting. Okay, yeah, after the POV ceremony was over today, I was kind of just like, okay, time for me to call Granny. I'll catch up on the rest of the feeds later and tomorrow. Okay. So I didn't see what you were talking about yet. I don't know what happened, but if it was good, yeah, it'll be in tomorrow's. So thanks for the heads up on that.
All the boys are blowing off some steam.
I guess so. But that's where we're at right now. Thank you all so much for being here. Hope you all have a great Monday. Yeah, we're going to go. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Expect some craziness with Kyland up on the block because he's going to spiral out of control. So anyway, thanks for watching. And until next time, much love. Bye.